Nearly a decade ago, young sportsmen from all over the world converged on Sydney for the Olympic Games. This weekend, the Games have got engines.
Look at the attitude in the car. What a hefty opening lap. Brilliant start from
The Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series has rolled into Sydney Olympic Park, and two men are fighting for the gold. Jonathan Webb and David Russell have duked it out all season.
contact with Webb, the championship contenders.
But at the end of today, only one man can be crowned champion. It's the season decider, and it starts now. So the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series all comes down to this weekend. Two races around a brand new street circuit here at Sydney Olympic Park. Now, one man who knows all about winning the championship, Andrew Jones, 5 years ago, you were really in the position of David Russell, chasing down the series leader, and in the end it worked.
It definitely did, and it's a great place to be, really. Obviously, you want to be leading the championship, but the man doing the hunting, he has everything to gain, nothing to lose. We're at a brand new street circuit here at Homebush, and it's just going to be a fantastic race.
In terms of this venue, it's brand new, 3.42 kilometres, plenty of concrete around here, so the championship could very well change very quickly.
A couple of really important braking zones where the cars are getting very, very light. You mentioned the concrete, it's always an issue at a street circuit, and anything can happen.
Webb's won the last 2 rounds straight at Queensland Raceway and also at Mount Panorama, but David Russell won the first round on the streets of Adelaide. It's going to be a fight right to the wire. This weekend, there's 300 championship points on the line and no reverse grid race. That means that with a lead of 79 points, Jonathan Webb is in the box seat to take the Fujitsu crown, having clean swept the last 5 individual races. But the Gold Coast-based driver knows he's still a long way from being crowned the champ, especially with everyone else having nothing to lose and everything to gain from bumping him off the podium.
Well, hopefully they're not going to try and bump me off literally, but definitely going to be out there pushing. Everyone wants to win the race. It's the last one of the year and everyone wants to stand on the top step, but we'll also be out there doing our best to do the same thing.
His title rival, David Russell, has enjoyed his return season to V8 Supercars. After a first-up round win, he led the championship for the first 2 rounds, but in recent times, he's had to watch as the Webb Express disappeared into the distance. That may be in part due to the fact that his team does not receive the same amount of data from any of the main teams as some of his rivals do, and he's hoping the new track may help his cause.
There is an advantage of that from different tracks when they've got the data handed down to them, but it's good to be finishing the year on a new circuit that no one's got data and also haven't got, the main game teams don't have the data either, so that's not getting fed down from the main series team to then the Fujitsu series teams.
James Moffat has been the star of the series in his rookie year. If not for some bad luck, he too could have been challenging for the series title. But if the points fall his way, he could still take second in the championship. With a race win in Adelaide and 2 more at Townsville, he knows what it takes to win around the tight confines of a street circuit.
It's obviously a challenge for the engineers to come up with, first of all, a base setup to come to the track with. And then from there, you've got to find, after the first practice, what the car's doing, whether it's behaving the way that you want it to be behaving. But yeah, really, it's always a bit of a compromise around street circuits because, you know, you've got surface changes and potholes and all this sort of thing. You know, it's a big challenge for everybody.
The last event of the year has attracted the biggest Fujitsu field of the season, and there's a few new faces thrown into the mix. Englishman James Winslow, who now lives within walking distance of the circuit, is making his V8 Supercar debut in the car previously driven by Shane Price. The reigning Australian Formula 3 champion, Winslow is an open-wheeler whiz, but V8 racing is where his aspirations lie.
Well, my plan is to become a professional V8 supercar driver. move up to the main game. I've been told by the teams I'm talking to in the main game that I need some experience in the cars before I can jump straight into the hot seat. I've been doing A1, done a little bit of Champ Car and Formula 3 and sort of high-level single-seater stuff, so to drive a V8 Supercar is completely different. I've probably only got 40 laps or 40 or 50 laps in a V8 before the race meeting, so I'm not massively prepared.
Ryan Hansford is also making his Fujitsu debut just 1 month after his national level debut in the Mini Challenge on the Gold Coast. Ryan's father Greg was a regular co-driver to the great Alan Moffat, so it's perhaps appropriate he makes his debut in a field that also includes Alan's son James. And Marcus Marshall is back behind the wheel of a V8 Supercar this weekend. He's jumped at the chance to race in the Fujitsu Series after the team he was driving for in the main game folded midway through the season. One thing is certain, at this curtain-closing event for 2009, new or old to the series, every single driver wants their name to be the first on the inaugural Sydney Trophy. A completely unique venue here at Sydney Olympic Park, of course the likes of ANZ Stadium and Acer Arena, but 13 turns in total, but there's a couple to keep an eye out for.
Couple of crackers. At turn 6 and 7, we're going to see the cars two-wheeling through there over the curbs. And then on the run down to turn 9 in the braking zone, it was dubbed the roller coaster due to the bumps there.
Turn 9, of course, is at the Novotel Hotel, and then the last couple of corners wind their way around the railway station. But pole position, the Armour All pole this weekend for the third time this season. James Moffat, the Norton 360 Sonic Motor Racing Falcon, and that ties him with Jonathan Webb for 3 poles each this year. $2,000 to the son of a gun. The 7th and final round of the year, the cars on the warm-up lap for race 1. And this one's to be over 22 laps. Moffat and Webb on the front row. Grant Denyer alongside Damien Assailant. But the good news for Webb is that David Russell has qualified 8th.
And not good news for David Russell. He was really pumped about this weekend. Great job, though, by Marcus Marshall coming back into the series.
Hasn't driven a car for quite a while, so doing a great job. Colin Corkery back in the series in an ex-Paul Morris Team VE. Garth Walden returning for the first time in 5 years to V8 Supercars. And Hayden Pullen driving with the Cedars team with the backing of Wagga Wagga. Webb and Moffat, front row. Let's get it going.
And they're definitely ready to get it going. On the limiter early.
Now we get going. Denyer from the second row makes a great jump. Webb's not quite as quick as Moffat, so he slots in on the run to turn 1. Aaron McGill starting from pit lane. Look for this first corner, lots of different surfaces.
And those manholes in the centre of the road will flare up the tyre under brakes, so that's something to be cautious of.
Damien Assailant side by side with Marcus Marshall. This is the 4X Gold chicane, 50 kilometres per hour, it's tight.
Very tight. And then we're into a double chicane here where things can go and look like they are going pear-shaped.
We're on board with Ben Eggleston. He got involved there with Brad Lowe and Sam Walter in the Greg Murphy Racing Commodore.
That looked like that was a big impact into the right front of Brad Lowe's car. That's definitely got steering damage. That car's not going anywhere.
Back to the front, the leaders are on their way. Through turn 10, this short run alongside the train station that pops up in the circuit. Safety car is being called. No real surprises there. Brad Lowe simply can't steer that car anywhere.
We could see Brad Lowe trying to get that car moving. He was doing the very best. As we have a look at the replay, Taz Douglas actually looked like he may have given Brad Lowe a little bump there because he has quite a bit of damage on the front of that fast Taz car.
Sam Walter, he was the innocent guy there. Did nothing wrong but got taken out.
Unfortunately, when we're on a narrow street track like this, you've got nowhere to go. You can end up in the wall very easily. And that tells the story of what happened to Brad Lowe. Lots of damage to the front of that car. The safety cars come out, so the crews can get rid of those cars.
Let's have a look again. James Winslow had a little bit of touch. Look at Lowe's car bouncing across. And Sam Walter, it's just a case of 3 cars on a bit of road that usually only has 1. The Tasmanian will limp it around. It's his last start in the Fujitsu series, and it started badly. Brad Lowe is out too. We're under safety car at Sydney Olympic Park. The pace picks back up at Sydney Olympic Park. It's a restart in the first race of the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. James Moffat and Jonathan Webb have caught Grant Denyer napping.
He certainly was napping, or maybe he was looking in the rearview mirror to make sure that he had Damien Assailant covered on the restart. Those guys have got a great gap, and James Moffat...
James Winslow makes a move and gets caught out, but bounces off the tyre wall and escapes.
It was an interesting move, that, and what happens when you come from a Formula open-wheeler car and start driving a V8 supercar? You just can't carry the corner speed that James will be used to.
David Russell is on the move. He's got by Marcus Marshall and jumped up to 5th spot. Look at Assailant, the Fujitsu Falcon, all over the back of Grant Denyer now. This is turn 6 and 7, which takes the cars over these curbs into what normally is a bus stop during the week.
Normally we hear a bus stop used as a phrase to describe the circuit or a part of a circuit, but it's not normally a true bus stop. Damien Assailant looks like he's in a real hurry to get past Grant here, so we might follow this for a little bit, see if Grant can hold him out.
This is the braking zone into turn 9 that you discussed earlier. Look at the undulations, and modulating the brake pressure there is so hard.
We heard from the drivers over the weekend that they were just really having to work hard on modulating the brake pedal. What it does is it locks the rears over those bumps, and it's real easy to have the back go round on the entry to the turn 9 corner.
Good fight here. Denyer, Assailant, Russell, Marcus Marshall driving for the Race Image team, the Newcastle-based operation with an ex-DJR Falcon. It's an older model car, and Marcus has been out of the seat for some 6 or so months. Just trying to remind everybody that he's still around.
David Russell up the inside of Damien Assailant. Look at that. Damien's gone from hunting Grant Denyer to being hunted by David Russell. He's in a hurry. He wants to try and get a hold of this championship.
Let's have a look at the replay here. This is Winslow, and you can see there, see the different colour bitumen. Those different surfaces, particularly when you're trying to brake the car and slow it down, can catch you out.
And the manhole covers, and I spoke about them on the opening lap. That's the one that really seems to be setting the drivers off over the weekend. As soon as you get on that, when you've got maximum brake pressure, it just fries that left front tyre.
Riding with Grant Denyer, 4th in the championship coming into this weekend. It was only a handful of points in front of the young Kiwi Daniel Gaunt, but Gaunt hasn't been able to put together a deal for this last round. So Grant's on target for what would be his best ever championship finish in the Fujitsu series.
Yeah, and he's a great supporter of this series, Grant. He's doing a terrific job, and you know, he races anything he can get a seat in at the moment, so he's definitely race fit.
Moffat and Webb have cleared away, and now it's David Russell. He knows he's got to get by Denyer. He's got to get in front of Webb and really hope for Webb to have some form of a drama.
And just reading the attitude on that car, look at him, he's really hungry. He's the only car in this battle that's got plenty of attitude under brakes going on. He's really on the edge.
In the background on the edge there, that was David Cedars in a very different looking car from what we've seen him in during the course of the year. But with Grant Denyer, you've got an Nick Johnson Racing prepared Falcon with a DJR engine. In the case of David Russell, it's the Howard team car, but they run with a DJR engine as well, so very similar power plants.
Grant just blocking there over the bumps at turn 9. So he's aware of the pace that David Russell's got in that car. He's going to have his mirrors full of that yellow Sherrin Rentals Falcon at the moment.
And that car and that team this weekend, Andrew, have clinched. Look at him blocking the rears down into turn 11. He's really trying hard.
They're really driving that car. It's great to see. We love a street fight.
They've clinched the Privateers Cup Award, which is for the best non-championship series affiliated team in the Fujitsu series. And that's a great pat on the back to Warren Davis and everyone at Howard Racing who prepared this car this year. And he has another look down at turn 1. He's good under brakes, but he's just teetering on that edge.
And Marcus Marshall there in the ESET car, 4th car on the shot. He's trying to buy into this battle. He's seeing it happening up ahead of him, and he's working really hard. This is a circuit where, as you mentioned, Marcus is in an older car, but he's ability and his experience driving V8 supercars. He's able to muscle it around and just make something out of it.
Just behind Marshall is David Cedars in the Careflight Falcon, just struggling a little bit for power this weekend, but Russell sliding the car on the exit of turn 5, and the attitude that these cars get through those curbs at 6 and 7. A lot of the drivers who've come from open wheel racing and Carrera Cup and the like, they're not used to throwing the car at the curb, because in those categories, that's not what you do, but it's a different process in the Fujitsu series.
And the thing with a street track is it's generally not typically hard on the tyre, so we'll see how long David Russell can get away with throwing that car around for like that.
Moffat and Webb have cleared away. Grant Denye's hanging on, but David Russell in 4th spot. Look at this, turn 5, stepping it right out. We'll continue from Sydney after the break. Back at Sydney Olympic Park with the Fujitsu V8 Series. And the debutant, while we were away, Ryan Hansford having a little mistake at the chicane. Rodney James using a lot of curb at turn 6. But it's his Sonic teammate, James Moffat, who leads the way. Jonathan Webb is in 2nd spot. And considering that his chief championship rival, David Russell, is a bit further back in the pack, would you expect him to attack or not?
No, he looks pretty content to sit there behind James at the moment. He'll be getting advice from the pit guys just to keep it calm, make sure he finishes the race, and just follow the lead that's being set by James Moffat.
Looking at Michael Ritter there, team principal from Sonic Motor Racing, and it's no fluke that they're in the Team Vodafone garage. Of course, this team has a relationship with Roland Dane's organisation with cars and engines and equipment and the like.
Yeah, and Sonic Motorsport being run by Mick Ritter, they have a terrific pedigree in motorsport off their own bat. So when they team up with 888, they're a very strong combination, especially in this development series.
The car that James is driving was a Craig Lowndes car from last year's championship series. A little reminder there, but Moffat and Webb have cleared away. They really have been the form drivers of 2009. And what a year it's been for Moffat. Rookie of the Year last year in the Porsche Carrera Cup. Stepped it up into the V8 Supercars this year, has won some races, had a few poles, had a few letdowns along the way, but has really made a mark, and that's what you need to do.
And that gap on the road is pretty much the points gap between David Russell and Jonathan Webb as they sit at the moment.
Oh, Ryan Hansford stuck in the fence. Not for long, gets out of there in the DBA Falcon. But if they stay where they are in terms of Webb and Russell, Webb will have a margin of 100 points. So it won't be all over come the last race, because the winner scores 150 points in each race.
It'll be far from it. It'll be game on, in fact, because we've seen anything can happen on this street track here at Sydney Olympic Park.
Looking from the top of the Novotel down to turn 9. Look at that roller coaster, that's impressive. But what's impressive really are these two. They have driven away from everybody else. And we say it all the time, street tracks really do highlight the differences between the experienced drivers and the guys who are still learning.
And also the team. The team plays a major factor. The team has to deliver a good car to the driver for them to get the most out of it.
The run back onto Australia Avenue. It's downhill all the way towards turn 1.
Down through...
Oh, David Russell. That's at turn 13. He's at pit entry. And as he hit the tyre bundle there, he's got a drama. The right front, he can't steer the car straight over the cones. And this could be championship all over.
I hope I didn't put the mockers on Dave Russell there. I said anything can happen on a street track.
He's no chance. Look at the right front tyre.
And it has happened. The right front has massive amounts of steering damage. Look at that. He's done a very good job to make the pit entry there. Well, he's very awkward.
He's felt it let go there clearly and then tried to dive across. Oh, Warren Davis can't believe it. This team's won the championship before. They've experienced the heartache. That car's out. There's no way he can even limp around and score a point or two. So for Jonathan Webb, he just needs to stay where he is.
If we thought he was in conserve mode before, he definitely is going to be now.
Matthew White, the team principal of MW Motorsport, will be on the headset. They don't need him to be a hero right here. bring it home. And there's the warning, that tyre bundle at turn 13 that's been moved out onto the racing circuit. Damien Assailant off as well in the Fujitsu Falcon.
With 2 laps to go, it's all happening here.
Look at the right rear. That's on the exit of turn 5, just before the turn 6 chicane.
And we saw David Russell really sliding his car through turn 5 earlier. Looks like Damien Assailant hasn't been able to gather it on the exit.
Roland Dane from Team Vodafone keeping an eye on the Fujitsu series. But for Damien Assailant facing the wrong direction. Let's have a look at what happened. Turn 5 just hasn't quite got it turned in.
No, and because he hasn't been able to get it turned in, he's probably tried to crack the throttle, get the rear to come around and point the car in the right direction. But a bit too much throttle equals end up in the fence.
The Fujitsu Falcon was 8th on the road at the time. Look at Drew Russell, the ESET antivirus Falcon. It's pretty narrow there at turn 6, manages to pick his way through.
Great job to get through. You never like a car spinning in front of you, that's for sure. You don't know where it's going to go.
Assailant in the fence, some repair work before the start of the second race for Matthew White's team. But while there's some drama with this car, there's some good news at the other end of the field. Under safety car in Sydney, and Jonathan Webb sits in second spot to this man, James Moffat, the Norton 360 Falcon, leads the way. Not long to go in race 1. Webb is within sight of the crown. Back at Sydney Olympic Park, and as you can hear from race control, this race is going to finish under safety car. It will move to pit lane and allow James Moffat to cross the line and take the checkered flag for his 5th race win of 2009. Lights it up off the last corner.
And James Moffat has taken out the first Fujitsu race at Sydney's Olympic Park.
But Webb in second spot, that clinches him the championship. Denyer and Marshall, David Cedars 5th, the great drive. Jeff Emery in 6th. Colin Corkery rounded out the top 10. But Jonathan Webb has got it done for Matthew White, twice a runner-up as a driver, as a team owner. He's now managed to grab the Fujitsu Series Championship. Ronnie Ingerson's with the new champ.
Jonathan Webb, that is good enough to give you the Series Championship. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. I must say, I didn't think it about that easy today. I knew Russell was coming, and he was certainly coming on strong. So not sure what happened there towards the end, but boys come over the radio and said, that's it, just bring it home. So no, massive relief. We can get on and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
It's been a fantastic year for you, particularly the last half of the year. What do you put that down to?
Oh, I think, we've just got really glued well together, the whole team. The boys have worked really well. Just got our head around the car. It was all a bit new for us all this year, but it's come really strong at the end, and we're lucky to carry that home.
Well done.
Thank you.
With one race to go, he's done it. A kiss from fiancée Kobe. Let's track Jonathan Webb's path to the championship.
2009 has been a breakthrough year for Jonathan Webb, but it almost didn't turn out that way. At the start of the year, he was looking for a main game seat, but no opportunity presented itself. He then decided to spend an extra year in the development series and joined forces with Matthew White Motorsport after 2 years at Stone Brothers Racing.
I must say now, looking back, is probably the best decision I've made. Just to hang around another year and really perfect the art of driving the cars. I've gone from a fairly big operation with 50, 60 people, running 3 cars in Stone Brothers. So coming with Matty, we've got 3 cars, a fairly small crew. And in doing that, I've learned a lot more on the way through. Matt and I sit down at the end of each event and work through exactly what we did over the race weekend as far as the changes on the car and how I adjusted my driving style to suit each track. So it's been really good to go, I guess, back to basics a little bit this year, and even things like working on the brake ducting and your brake bias and getting all the corner weights and the balance and just everything really spot on, and learning as a driver exactly what they do and how they respond. And obviously after each run, you get a small run, maybe anywhere between a 20 and a 40-minute practice. It's pretty important to make sure you maximise what you learnt out there in that time, and that's something I've definitely think I've sort of got over another hurdle this year on doing that, and I think that's definitely what's helped our strength in the latter year.
Webb may have dominated over the last few rounds, but it took much longer than many expected for him to get his first race win of the season. At Winton, he won the round, but without winning a race. And as the next few rounds went by, victory still eluded him. It was starting to become like the proverbial monkey on his back. Then at round 5 in Queensland, he began to stage a remarkable turnaround in form. He clean swept the round and then did the same again at Bathurst, making it 5 race wins in a row.
Webb has been a regular in the V8 Supercar Championship endurance races for several seasons now, but he credits the level of competition in the Fujitsu series as invaluable in helping him work towards a full-time career in the main game.
All year my lap times have been quicker and quicker than they were in the years past, and you know, to grow as a driver, that's what you need to do. There's no use just sort of cruising around a couple of seconds off the pace from the main series guys. We needed to push, want to make the step up for next year. So in doing that, I had to bring up our pace, and obviously Moffat and Russell have both pushed us along. And come qualifying, it's boys on the radio, you're only a 10th off, so we push a 10th quicker, and then someone else does. So it's really good just to keep pushing us along and having that competition there.
Now with the 2010 Championship Series just over 2 months away, Webb has managed to secure a deal that will see him step up into the main game.
At the moment, we'll be running with DJR next year. As I said, the boys have done a great job this year. I really enjoyed working with them. So we thought we'd continue that relationship. They're going to bring on a 3rd car for myself to run. So run us as a 3-car operation, which is great. I mean, I'm going to learn a whole heap off those guys, as well as the team, the drivers, and also have some good equipment. So looking forward to going out there. Obviously, those 2 cars are going to be consistently running the top 10. My sort of hopes and dreams are to finish consistently in the top 20. If not, have a couple of races where you push up and top 15, top 10 maybe even. But I think if now is definitely the time where we can't be any more prepared. There's no reason that we shouldn't get out there and put on a good show.
So the Fujitsu Series Championship is all sorted. And we'll be back with the final race of the season after the break.